So we're live on the top of Schmittenhöhe, turn point 3, with Benoit Outters to my left. Marcus Anders getting ready behind me, and Kriegel Maurer is down there. He obviously feels that he can launch from there, and it's thermic, so why walk another 100 meters up the hill? That gives you a little window into the thinking of Kriegel Maurer. I think most people just naturally go to the top, to the launch, and he just looks at where he thinks he can take off. So it's just after 9:30. Things normally kick off a little bit later. We know, I was just talking to Martin, Benoit's supporter. He's just on the left of Benoit there. He was explaining to me that there was supposed to be an inversion until 10 AM, and that basically means there's a blocker in the sky that prevents athletes from rising up, from thermaling. From 10 o'clock that should clear, but it's looking flyable. We've got a slight breeze coming in. It's not constant, which I'm told means that that's good news. It means it's more likely to be a thermal wind. It's just coming in waves. But the tricky thing here, I'm going to just show you around the mountains. Incredible view here. We've got the Kitzsteinhorn over there. Now, if you can see the lake, that is the airspace restriction. So if you go beyond that lake, it will be a nasty penalty for an athlete. So the trick is, you've got to launch and bank right before you get to that lake. A couple of hazards. You've got the trees, you've got this cable here. Should we have a look at some of Marcus Anders' kit?
J'espère que ça va le faire assez vite jusqu'à Kitzbühel, après on verra. Ouais, bientôt, 2h30.
On y va à Kitzbühel?
Ouais. On se retrouve à Kitzbühel, ouais, j'espère.
À quelle heure penses-tu arriver?
Dans 1h30. Peut-être moins.
2h midi?
Ouais.
Petite brise de sud-est, c'est pas mal.
Il y a un cube là-bas. Là.
Looking at that cloud over there.
Non mais je pense que ça va monter bien.
Sorry.
La face elle est grande, tu as vu le bol que ça fait là?
Après il n'est pas forcément engagé là-dedans. Regardez bien.
Sometimes patience is rewarded. The last thing an athlete wants to do is take off too early and bomb out. Better to wait, be certain that you can get lift, than be a little bit too hasty in the takeoff and find yourself having to hike back up. You really don't want to be doing that in these conditions. I hiked up from Zellamzee, and yeah, it's hard going for sure. Marcus, what's the situation? What do you see? What are you thinking?
We are on the takeoff.
it's actually quite good. First clouds are forming, and while sitting here I noticed a bird turmoiling a little bit, but there is a lot of like foggy air, and the forecast already has like an inversion layer inside, so I'm watching around. Kriegel is like 100 meters below, he's getting ready, but it looks like he's not in a rush, so I think there's no point to rush also. And we hopefully have a really cool flight. It's actually looking quite good. If we get airborne, we probably reach Kitzbühel quite fast. I'm just gonna switch to Benoit, if you don't mind, so we'll catch up in a bit. And there goes Benoit Outters, first to launch. Both Marcus and Kriegel will be watching him very closely. Looks like he's got a little bit of lift there. Marcus Anders behind me just watching. Not in any hurry. Is Benoit going to do it? Is he going to find some lift?
Also ich bin hier aufgeblieben, du bist in diesem Kasten aufgeblieben.
So Kriegel Maurer is just down there getting ready to launch. Doesn't look like he's in a real hurry. Everyone watching Benoit Outters over there. Just turning at the moment. Has he got some lift? Well, I think what we could do is go and have a chat with Kriegel. Marcus looks like he is in no hurry to launch, and it looks like it's not really working out that great for Benoit. He's yet to climb, and it seems as though too early to say, but he's just over there trying to get some lift. And then ultimately the plan will be to come out around this way and head up onto the south facing side of the hill. So we can run down now, try and catch up with Kriegel. Has Benoit launched too early? You can still see his wing. He's still flying. Just a little bit below us in altitude. You can just make out his wing just over the horizon here. Just over there. Kriegel's getting his speed arm on.
Bitte fangen wir auf Englisch kurz an, was jetzt dein Vorhaben ist, wo wir jetzt gerade sind, Zell am See, Schmitten und ja, was dein Vorhaben ist für heute, bitte.
Yes, finally it's 9:40. We are here on turn point Schmittenhöhe, the last turn point, but it's a bit too early. We are waiting for thermals. Benoit took off and did not looks that good, and Anders it's up there, and yeah, we would like to fly to turn point Hankam. It's not so far, but it's some hills in between. We need some thermals, otherwise it's hard. But the weather forecast looks good. The sun it's already good, so we are looking forward for some minutes or hours that it works.
Jetzt bitte nochmal auf Deutsch, bitte Zell am See dazu sagen.
Ja.
Weil das ja Zell am See Carbon,
Ja.
das die Gegend ist. Und Schmittenhöhe nur der Berg, der nicht ganz so wichtig ist. Jetzt muss das Auto noch ganz schnell vorbei.
So Kriegel, you think it's a little bit early to take off at the moment?
Yeah, it's. I thought it's good. The wind was blowing up, so I was optimistic. But now we can see that Benoit is not climbing well, so maybe he landed anyway. And yeah, it's an adventure. We have to wait until it works. So I was not walking to the top to save energy, but I think it was a mistake.
Okay.
Ja, jetzt sind wir hier in Zell am See, Kaprun. Bin hier auf die Schmittenhöhe hochgegangen und bin zuversichtlich, dass es bald Thermik gibt. Es ist jetzt 9:45, aber der Benoit Outters ist noch nicht gut gestiegen. Das beunruhigt mich jetzt ein bisschen, weil laut Prognose sollte es schon steigen. Und wir müssen Thermik haben, weil sonst ist es noch ein weiter hügeliger Weg bis Hankam. Und auch dort möchte ich natürlich oben bei der Station einlanden und nicht nochmal hochgehen, bevor wir dann rausfliegen zum Chiemsee, Marquardstein. Und das hoffe ich, dass es reicht, weil die Prognose sagt dann für den Nachmittag wieder hohe Wolken, Gewitter und starker Wind.
So if you've just tuned in, we're on the Schmittenhöhe, which is the final turn point in the Red Bull X-Alps before Zell am See. Apologies for my error earlier mentioning that it is a turn point 3. Of course, turn point 3 is not Schmittenhöhe. Turn point 3 is Kitzbühel, Hankam. So apologies for that error. Got the helicopter here. So Benoit Outters was first to launch, but it seems as though it was a little bit premature. Marcus Anders and Kriegel Mara waiting now to launch, so that's where we'll leave it now. wait for that helicopter. So as always, you can follow all the action on live tracking. That's where it's happening. That's where you can follow all the athletes. And remember, we're at the front, but there's a lot of stories going on at the back of the field as well. So do tune into the news feed for news of Gavin McClurg, Thomas Kokonia, and many other athletes still a long way spread out already across the Alps. This is day 2 of the 2021 Red Bull X-Alps, and it's still early and it's still very, very hot.